Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. This is your timeless elite, your PR princess, Stone Cold Courtney, whatever you want to call me on this Friday edition of WWT Live. Obviously, of course, next weekend we got Elimination Chamber. We had so much chaotic action happening this past week, but here we are again. It's Friday. We're going to focus on Friday Night SmackDown and a lot of things that are happening in the world of wrestling. But thankfully, I'm not alone on sharing these top stories. I'm always excited because, like me, she does pageants and she loves wrestling. And I'm so excited to see her back because it's been a long overdue welcome, but I'm so excited to have Victoria back in the building.
Hey, everyone.
Happy Friday. How are you?
I am doing good. Happy Friday. Happy SmackDown Friday. And yeah, we have a lot to talk about. Lots been going on in the world of wrestling.
So much has going on, but like you said, it is Friday, and obviously, of course, we do have SmackDown at the helm. So just a little program reminder, tonight's SmackDown episode will be on Sci-Fi, not USA Network. It will be on Sci-Fi tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we had a little bit of a shakeup on the card on WWE Socials today. We are going to kick off with Mr. QB1 himself, Cody Rhodes, as he talks about going into the Elimination Chamber ahead of next weekend. And very curious on what is he going to say. We're also, speaking of Elimination Chamber, we do have a qualifying matches happening tonight. For the men's side, we have Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and Damian Priest for the men. And for the women, we have Kiana James, Charlotte Flair, and Nia Jax. Very curious on who's going to take both spots for the men and women's side. And after some dominating, because we saw him on Raw, and we don't know if it's official on the roster yet, Oba Femi is going to be taking on Kit Wilson. So the ruler is already making his rounds, and hopefully, Kit Wilson, we hardly knew ya. And after a chaotic 10-man tag team match, we're going to have Ilya Dragunov taking on Tama Tonga one-on-one. And also, it was supposed to be Io Sky taking on Julia, but WWE Socials announced that Rhea Ripley will be going one-on-one with Julia. All this and more happening tonight at the top of the hour. Obviously, of course, we're going to have Honey Night SmackDown, so you cannot watch SmackDown alone. And a friendly reminder, it'll be on Sci-Fi Network tonight. And Victoria, I just wanted to get your thoughts. Is there a match or a segment or anything in particular you're excited about Friday Night SmackDown tonight?
Well, of course, interesting to see what Cody will say, because I feel like they still are hinting at a possible heel turn. I'm wondering if this will lean more into that. Oba just squashing someone just is going to be so entertaining. I mean, we know what's going to happen. They're really building him up. And so I can't wait to see how they do it. And of course, anytime Mommy is in the ring, I will be watching, and to see who else is going to end up in Elimination Chamber. Looking at those two matches, could see reasons why they put any three of them each into those matches. So it's not really clear to me what direction they're going in yet for Elimination Chamber. What about you?
It's very interesting. I mean, obviously, what Cody has to say, but I'm very looking at, with Oba. I know people think it's a squash match. I don't think so, because we were talking about this on Kayfabe podcast last night. I don't think it's going to be a squash match with Kit Wilson. I think he's going to have some leverage to that, but I don't think he's going to be destroying or anything. I think it's going to last a little bit longer, and it's not going to be a squash match. Obviously, of course, the qualifying match for Elimination Chamber. This is one of the few times we get to see Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes in the same ring on the main roster, because we know from their NXT days, it's going to be very interesting how the interaction is going to look. Very curious on how is that going to act. And obviously the ladies, of course, but very intriguing with Rhea and Julia. Obviously, that's been boiling, but I think they're teasing Io and Julia, because it's gonna happen, but they're teasing it a little bit. I just think they're teasing, but very curious on the why, because it might be like an injury, or maybe somebody attacked her backstage or somewhat, but they like to tease.
They do, and we'll find out, I guess. Hopefully they give us some more insight tonight.
They should give us that. And obviously, like I said, friendly program reminder, it will be on Sci-Fi tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Honey Night SmackDown is happening tonight, so you want to make sure to check out Honey, where she gives you the play-by-play of SmackDown. Shout out to everybody in the chat, Lewis Johnson, Lynette Zayas, because I saw you commenting, because you said you have Julia winning. Well, it's not for the title, but Julia will be going one-on-one with Rhea Ripley, and Lynette Zayas has Damian Priest and Charlotte Flair winning the qualifying matches. Shout outs to Cousin Ron, shout outs to Bose, shout out to Eric Isaac in the chat. So they're keeping their bold predictions in, but all of this is happening on SmackDown for the Blue Brand as we get closer to the Elimination Chamber. Speaking of the Blue Brand, one of the ladies that's already qualified for the Elimination Chamber, Tiffany Stratton, because even though she is coming back, we just found out that she will be competing in a bodybuilding contest. She actually posted this on her TikTok earlier today, not earlier today, but she did post on TikTok that she will be competing in a bodybuilding contest in 9 weeks. She stated that I am currently 9 weeks out from my second bodybuilding show ever. I'm going to step on stage again and just kind of see where things are at. I remember I fell in love with bodybuilding, and then I got signed to WWE, so I couldn't really do both at the same time. But I feel like I'm now in a position where I can feel where I feel like I can balance it now. And Victoria, I just want to get your quick thoughts, because we're just seeing a lot, not just the ladies, but a lot of superstars are taking on outside activities. Obviously, with Tiffany, we did see with Io Sky doing jiu-jitsu and getting a black belt. And also recently, Mina Shirokana, she got a black belt as well doing jiu-jitsu. But just wanted to get your quick thoughts on Tiffany entering the bodybuilding space.
Good for her. And someone in the chat, if I'm wrong on this, but Bianca Belair has also competed in bodybuilding too, I believe, during her time on the main roster. I mean, I think it's an amazing feat. Good for her. Her body has been looking amazing lately, so it totally makes sense to me that, like, what a great time to do it. But yeah, good for her to have other goals and other things that she's focused on and working towards. I think having goals, especially, it's still a new year, it's always a good thing. So I can't wait to see. And I also can't wait to see her outfit, because her ring gear is so fun. I feel like this has to be a great bikini.
I'm very happy, and I'm very happy a lot of them. And you are right, because Bianca Belair did do bodybuilding, and she was first discovered by Mark Henry, by the way, because Mark Henry has mentioned her many, many times on the Busted Open podcast and many other interviews that he's done. I'm very excited. A lot of them are taking on outside activities, because before it felt a little bit sketchy, because like you see some of them do mainstream stuff, but they couldn't do other things outside of the ring and especially within the space. But I'm happy there is some leverage coming into there and taking on these opportunities, especially if you're not on TV on a week-to-week basis. At least you get to keep yourself busy with all these activities. And you're right, Tiffany Stratton's, her ring gear has been pretty good. It's kind of like an inspiration of Sabrina Carpenter, because she's mentioned Sabrina Carpenter so many times. So I wouldn't be shocked if she had a Sabrina Carpenter reference in her outfit when she does bodybuilding.
That would be cool. That would be so fun.
That would be so cool. I think so. But congratulations to Miss Tiffany Stratton. And hopefully we do get to see her tonight on Friday Night SmackDown. And as we mentioned earlier, another person that's going to be on SmackDown tonight, Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes wants storylines involved in the WWE United States Championship. And he was speaking with Good Karma Wrestling for a new interview. And he noted he wanted to start bringing actual storylines into his reign. And he quoted and said, as far as who wants to answer the open challenge, to be honest, I think the open challenge is becoming a little bit more. I do want to bring storylines back because I do feel like there is a period where guys have to earn an opportunity to get a title shot. You know what I mean? I don't think guys should just be able to pull up every Friday and just automatically get a title shot, because until the open challenge opened, I didn't get one. I had to earn one. It took a lot. If you guys remember, I was battling Andrade every week, killing ourselves to get an opportunity for an opportunity. I like to bring that back. And you could catch that full interview. And he also did mention a praise to The Miz, where he was at a low point in his career, and he did acknowledge The Miz on helping him out in that one. And Victoria, I just want to get your quick thoughts on this, because Carmelo put in a lot of points in, and I don't think he's wrong here. And do you think it's possible we could get some storylines, especially since Carmelo Hayes is the reigning United States champion?
Please. So here's the thing. You all know I'm a big fan of Road Dogg, but the writing, we need some more meat and some more storylines around some of these titles. If you think about how the United States Championship is really kind of supposed to be in line with the Intercontinental Championship, right? On Raw, that was kind of the point, a mid-card title. But think of the historic storylines we've had for the Intercontinental title. I mean, Rock and Austin battled over that title before they ever battled over the World Heavyweight Championship. So it has the ability to be this great place to tell stories and to really build people up, get more promo time in, build characters more, so many things. So please, I'm just with him on this. I do think the open challenge at least gets him on TV a lot, but it doesn't build the character of Carmelo Hayes anymore. You need a feud. You need reasons to build a character, and you do that through storytelling. That's how it happens.
You put a thought into it with the Intercontinental title, not only just Rock versus Austin, Rock versus Triple H, many other storylines that have happened in the Intercontinental. And also don't forget about the US title, because it did have some good storylines, especially when the Ruthless Aggression era was happening and SmackDown brought back the United States title. You remember when Eddie Guerrero was facing off against the Big Show for the US title, and also Big Show versus John Cena. That's where John Cena won his first singles championship with the United States title. So it would be good to at least have good consistency in storylines. I know on the men's side, it's very hard to do, but hey, I wouldn't mind if Miz and Carmelo Hayes had a storyline for the US title or something leading up to WrestleMania. But I understand where Carmelo is coming from, just being consistent and everything else. Heck, I wouldn't mind if he was involved in a storyline with R-Truth. I know R-Truth wrestles every now and then, but it wouldn't mind at least doing something, and that could get Miz very jealous, because that'll get closer for Miz to get the US title. But we shall see.
We all know I stand R-Truth. Get the man in the ring, get him on the mic, get him everywhere. National treasure.
Well, hopefully we do see him tonight. But yeah, Carmelo Hayes, let's get him a storyline. I know he's competing for the qualifying match for the Chamber, but let's see him if we can get him some consistent storylines. And shout outs to him. And also a little bit of news, not much on AEW, but it's kind of ties in a way, because this features one of their partnering organizations, CMLL, Maple Leaf Pro. This was actually announced this past week, where Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling and CMLL announced their strategic international partnership. Maple Leaf Pro released a news announcement on their website announcing a landmark promotional partnership designed to expand their global reach, elevate brand visibility, and deliver world-class professional wrestling events featuring talent from both organizations. And the agreement establishes a formal talent exchange that will see MLP promote CMLL stars across Canada, while CMLL will showcase MLP talent throughout Mexico, a collaborative effort aimed at strengthening international awareness and driving commercial growth for both promotions. And they released the official press release, and the partnership includes coordinating marketing efforts, joint promotional planning, and licensed use of each organization's intellectual property in connection with events produced under this agreement. So that is a big announcement, and sure, we're going to get a lot. But Victoria, I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this because this does seem like a huge opportunity, and we have seen Maple Leaf Pro make a lot of moves. They've made a lot of moves in the last couple months, but just wanted to get your thoughts on this incoming promotion between CMLL and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling.
I'm super excited for it. Also just like guilty plug, Maple Leaf, I'm just like across the border, like call me up because I'll like come and do some stuff for you. But I think partnerships like this are great. I think we know, especially with the smaller companies, that this can help build their brand more to new audiences. But I was curious what you thought of it because of the connection of CMLL with AEW. How do you think this will play with their connection? Do you think that's going to the wayside? Like, what are all your PR princess thoughts?
Oh, you want my thoughts on this? So I thought this was a really great opportunity and a leverage because this is not the first time Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling and AEW has worked. We've seen some stars from AEW come in. We saw Harley Cameron, we saw Ricochet, we saw Konosuke Takeshita, we saw that creep Don Callis. I don't really care much about him, but Josh Alexander, we've seen him. But also, it does give a leverage, and plus, it's kind of a win-win because CMLL already has a partnership with AEW, and it does expand out, especially if a lot of them are not on a week-to-week basis. They can actually get a lot of leverage there. Obviously, of course, Claudio is the reigning CMLL World Heavyweight Championship, so we'll probably see more of him on the scene, and also some other luchadors that we have seen in CMLL, like Mascara Dorada, Atlantis Jr., Templorio, many familiar faces. It is a really great opportunity. And also with the ladies too, like Persephone, Zuninians, I forgot her name already. I didn't want to butcher it. And then, of course, the reigning CMLL Women's Champion, Mercedes Moné. You can't forget about her. She's still the reigning CMLL Women's World Champion.
One of the few titles she still has.
Well, we just found out we have a fatal four-way match to determine who is going to be our number one contender. We have Zunice, Persephone, Tessa Blanchard will be in that fatal four-way. Yes, Tessa Blanchard will be in that fatal four-way. It's very interesting because it'll be interesting if she wins, and God forbid if she beats Mercedes Moné. I don't even know what to think on that, but yeah, that's going to be very interesting. But this is definitely a win-win. And also, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling is doing an event with Ring of Honor because I did see it on socials pop up. We already know Deonna Purrazzo, who is the reigning Ring of Honor Pure Women's Champion, will be making an appearance along with Athena. I mean, obviously Athena will be in it because she's the forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion. But definitely want to give a congratulations to CMLL, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling to definitely taking it, continuing that partnership. And yeah, Victoria, you should go to a show. You should definitely go to a show. You should. Reach out to Scott D'Amore.
Come on now. It'd be fun.
That would be so fun. But congratulations to them. Now we go from CMLL and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling. And speaking of interesting interviews, you guys remember this face, Eva Marie. And you guys are probably thinking, Courtney, why are you talking about Eva Marie? Well, if you recall, yesterday she had an interview with Chris Van Vliet. Definitely check out that interview. That's on my go-to list because that that's a fascinating interview. But she did put out a few things. Chris talked about, obviously talking about her tenure in WWE in Total Divas, but this was actually very interesting. And she talked about recalling asking Mr. McMahon if she could return to NXT. And she kind of goes into really saying that she's spending a year on the roster as she was able to bypass NXT due to her stint at Total Divas. But she was speaking on Chris Van Vliet in a new interview. She revealed that she didn't feel really confident with her ability to put a match together until she returned to NXT. She goes on to say, I don't think until I decided when I went to Vince and asked him to go back down to NXT, I was probably already on the road for like a year and a half or two before I went. I made a rocky decision by going and asking him. No one steps down, but we were on the road so much and we were filming with so much that I didn't really have the time to put energy into training because our time was really limited at that moment. Then you could work on the road, house shows and stuff, but it's really a big ask to ask some of the other superstars to kind of get to the arena early and try to roll around with you. And it's not the same either. And they have a show that night. Trust me, there was a ton that wanted to do. Natty was great. Fit was also awesome because he would always get there early, but usually people are getting there early to try things and they already know how to wrestle. They already know how to put together a very basic match. So it's a little bit different than what I really needed. Victoria, I just want to get your quick thoughts because I know you remember Eva Marie. I don't know if you're like a fan of her or anything else and aware of her, but I know like she has gotten a lot of heat during her 2 tenures in WWE and not getting much wrestling experience. But I just wanted to get your quick thoughts on this, especially after her interview yesterday with Chris Van Vliet. Does it give you a little bit of different thoughts about Eva Marie and also about the training and not going to NXT and just going into the main roster, especially not knowing basic wrestling 101?
I think, her awareness of it, I think, was very refreshing. And I don't think we've ever heard her, unless I've missed another interview, her talk about the fact that she kind of knew she wasn't that good. And I commend her on trying to be very proactive and ask for something she thought would help her to get better. And I also think that's a hard thing to ask for when you're dealing with such like a company like that. It was a machine at that point. I think because she was on Total Divas, it gave her a little bit of cushion, right? Like you couldn't really fire her when she's also on this hit TV show that WWE is using to try to pull people back in to watch wrestling. But I commend her for being so self-aware and trying to do things to make herself better. I do think it's interesting, her comments about people beforehand, because you hear people like right before her, like you hear Maven talk about how one of the reasons why he was fired was he wasn't going to the ring enough before shows and like trying to get better. Or you look at like the old stuff with Trish Stratus and how her whole career, she really was getting trained while being on television. And you see those videos, but I think maybe different era, different time, different whatever. I give her a lot of credit for trying to get better, which is like really the goal always.
I do give her credit because this is actually one of the first few interviews that she's opened up about this. I don't think she's mentioned this to a lot of people before. And I didn't like the way she got a lot of heat. I mean, I understand like she couldn't wrestle and at least she was trying, but I know that she was being pushed for her looks. And she even had that awareness herself where she admitted that she needed to go to NXT to really train and learn the basics. And even like when you look back on, because I remember I watched that first season of Total Divas when she was on it, and it was not the greatest. I wouldn't say not great, but it was an interesting season, I will say. But Eva Marie did really putting that awareness in. And also with the fact too, you kind of mentioned with Trish, because she did start off as a fitness model and she did a train. But then when you think about a little bit before her, Stacy Keebler and Tori Wilson, they actually managed to get a lot of training in wrestling. And at least they did have some time in, because even though they were not like, I don't want to say the sharpest, they weren't the best of it, but they did put the work in and they actually made it look good. Like if you watch Tori's matches throughout SmackDown when she was there, she did put on some good solid matches. Same thing with Stacy. Like Stacy wasn't a week to week wrestler, but she did put in the work in, not just because of her legs, but she was able to put some work in. And also the person that trained those two, along with many other ladies, was Fit Finley. Yeah. He was the one that trained a lot of the ladies in the early 2000s. Stacy, Tori, Dawn Marie, Nydia, even though she won Tough Enough, she did get a lot of help from Fit Finley. So that's also a thing too. And I think that's something that I think that Eva wished she would have. And especially with NXT, NXT would have helped her so much at that period, really learning the basics 101, helping out at that time when you had like Bailey and Becky and Charlotte, and even when Sasha was there, and even AJ Lee at one point. So that's definitely something to really think about. But definitely check out her full interview. I do think it was very fascinating with Chris Van Vliet, where she did talk about it. But I give kudos to her. I mean, if she wants to really try it and think about it, we shall see. But definitely give her acknowledgement for really being vulnerable. It's not easy to do the training, but I give kudos to her. And also, I didn't like some of the backlash on social where they kind of really said a lot of sexist things towards her, which was a no-no.
Right. Do better, people.
Yes. We got to be a lot more better. But you know what's really cool and that's really great at Women's Wrestling Talk? We have the Women's Wrestling Archive, where we celebrate the past, the present, and the future of pro wrestling, women's wrestling. And also want to give acknowledgement to every single one, and happy to support them. So support the Women's Wrestling Archive.
Women's wrestling didn't just show up yesterday in glitter boots. We've been here the entire time, body slamming through history.
The Women's Wrestling Archive launches 2026, and it's going to pave the way for all women's wrestling. Because if we don't document it, a man might think he did it first.
This has been a passion project for a very long time. Head over to the womenswrestlingarchive.com to donate 1, 5, or whatever you can. It all goes a long way.
Let's give these women the spotlight that they've always deserved.
Her story belongs in history. Help us preserve it today. Join us at womenswrestlingarchive.com. Support the archive. Support women's wrestling. Donate today.
Support everything in the Women's Wrestling Archive. All support helps to celebrate, as I mentioned, the past, the present, and the future of women's wrestling. And since we're talking about the future of women's wrestling, WrestleMania news is happening. Hard to believe we're pretty much on the road and we're almost done with February. So we did get some reports by good old Uncle Dave, where apparently ticket sales have not been great within the last week. And he kind of goes in to say there's been news regarding WrestleMania at this point. No, like matches have not been added and tickets sales have not been great. And at one point, WWE tried to do a discount over the holiday weekend, but it didn't help as well. And pretty much Uncle Dave goes on, the current get-in price for the event in Las Vegas is $264 for Saturday and $276 for Sunday. So pretty much it has been a little bit of a sag with the ticket sales. And also going in a little bit further. But we did find out WWE officials reportedly held a multi-department meeting on February 11th to address these lower than expected numbers. While the company is exploring new promotional strategies, there are currently no plans to permanently lower ticket prices. The slump has been attributed to several factors, including Vegas fatigue from running the same stadium in back-to-back years, and a 65% increase in the cost of the cheapest tickets compared to WrestleMania 41. And Victoria, I mean, I just want to get your quick thoughts on this because yeah, you've seen the reports, and it's very interesting as we're on the road to WrestleMania when it comes to ticket sales.
I mean, for one thing, as we all know, you take Uncle Dave with a grain of salt, but I don't think this is any shock to anyone that they're in this situation. Like we've talked about before about the pricing of tickets and the pricing going up and up and up. At some point, like there's gonna be fatigue. I don't think it's about the card. I think WrestleMania has always sold itself for many, many years. People buy their tickets way before they know usually the main event or what's happening because it's WrestleMania. It's this huge event. It's the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, right? They have built it into this thing. I think it really does have to do with the ticket prices. I do think going to Vegas 2 years in a row was not a smart decision for them either. Like I was super excited when we thought it was New Orleans. I was like all about going to New Orleans. And Vegas is just not on my list like that. So I think they are gonna have to start, pivoting and figuring out new strategies. I don't think it's a marketing issue. I think, and you like, I love your input on that area. I think it's really just fans being like, enough's enough. I'm not shelling out money again.
Yeah, I think that's something to consider, and especially because it's very hard when you're doing it in the same city back to back, because we've seen them go to every different city almost every year. Well, sometimes they did hit snag, but it doesn't shock me. And like with Dave Meltzer, I mean, I have my own feelings. I'm just taking it with a grain of salt with the fact, because at this point, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know what happens in the meetings that they're in when it comes to WrestleMania. And also with the fact too, it doesn't shock me at all, because we mentioned this many times regarding TKO, because all they care about is the money. End result is money, but sometimes you have to bite more than you could chew. And also, dare I say this, trying to appease the casual fans that just watch WWE, not like the wrestling fans that have been watching this for years and years and years. And also, I mean, like you said, it would have been nice to do it in New Orleans. I would have loved it if they went back to Seattle, because the last time they were in Seattle was WrestleMania 19 in the Pacific Northwest. So that would have been a really great opportunity. So, I mean, I could give like possible solutions here and there. I don't want to say it's a marketing or PR thing, but they're going to have to really think of something, especially with the match card. Because obviously enough, we have CM Punk versus Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight title. But hopefully they can blow it out the park with some of these matches, because I know they're trying to put a lot of focus on Roman and everybody else, but it would be nice to get some other stars another opportunity to shine at WrestleMania. But of course, you want to draw on seats, you want to put butts in. And then also with the fact too, they have NXT Stand and Deliver earlier that day during Mania weekend. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I know people kind of are maxed out with Vegas, and also with the fact too, they're going to Saudi next year. That's a conversation within itself. That is that's a conversation for itself with Saudi next year, and I don't even know where they're gonna go after Saudi. Don't be shocked if they do back to back.
I have this. I mean, like, there's that big rumor, and like I do listen to a lot of Jim Cornette stuff, but about like that they're going to sell. The rumors that they want to sell it to Saudi, and what better time to announce a sale than WrestleMania in Saudi?
Oh my God. Well,
I hate the thought. It's like, like it's not something I want, but if you were going to think about the perfect time to do it,
it's that would cause an uproar. That would be very fascinating if it was WWE was sold to Saudi. That would be yeah. I can imagine an uproar.
Allegedly, rumors.
Allegedly.
Let's just-
Allegedly. We'll take things with a grain of salt, anyways, but that'll be something in the line soon. Now, another story that was brewing actually throughout Friday. I meant today. Kayla Braxton. Now, I feel like this is AEW the F Ice Chance all over again 2 weeks ago. So Kayla Braxton wants to remove Donald Trump from the Hall of Fame. She said this on her Instagram today. Going back to me working at WWE, I would get in trouble where I posted political things because every once in a while I get riled up. Here's what I think WWE should do. President Donald Trump is in our WWE Hall of Fame. I don't know if he's still in it. They may have quietly dismissed him from that. I really don't know. I think what WWE should do now that the Epstein files have been released and there is no question that the man is evil, I think they should do a public revoking of his Hall of Fame status. I think they would be one of the coolest and most leadership things that they could do. Hey, Mr. Donald Trump, you are no longer in the WWE Hall of Fame. I want a statement, a celebration, a parade. I think they should be a leader. They should go ahead and start this. Let's go ahead and start this. Victoria.
I mean,
we both live in the East Coast. I mean, come on.
This is not happening, okay? I mean, like, let's be for real. The head of creative sits on a board or something for Donald Trump's White House, right? Which to me is also laughable. You have a guy who, but that's not either here or there. Anyways, I don't think it's happening. I don't think they're going to kick out his mother-in-law's boss from the Hall of Fame. And like, to be fair, I haven't looked back on all of the Hall of Fame induction. Like, there's a lot of people in that thing now. I'm sure there's other people that maybe should be removed. I think there was a call for Hulk Hogan to be removed at one point during one of his, big PR uproars over things. So I don't think it's going to happen. I'd be really surprised if it happened. But yeah, I do think the point that she made about not being able to say political things when she worked for them is we've seen that with a couple of people who have like left the company, the rock starter being one of the, the loudest in the last couple of weeks or months or however long it's been. But I think that is more of a point of like question, like these are independent contractors, but you monitor what they're allowed to say. I think that might be a thing to get more traction on than kicking Trump out of the Hall of Fame.
Why do I get involved in some stuff like this? Because we were just talking about the FI chance 2 weeks ago in AEW. Here's the season. It's the season. This doesn't shock me at all. And also with the fact too, you have Triple H sitting on a ridiculous board. His mother-in-law is absolutely the worst person to lead in education. And I can say this because I have a lot of friends that work in the education system, and they do not like her one bit. I can name a few people that they can remove from the WWE Hall of Fame. There's many if you look at it. I mean, I know they removed Jimmy Snuka for what he did.
Oh, that's right.
Mr. White Trailer Trash Park, Kid Rock is still in the Hall of Fame. I mean, I haven't seen anybody do an uproar on that. But there's many other people that could be very interesting on that. I mean, I never have a problem with anybody sharing, especially with what's right and what's wrong. But I think people need to get out of their heads. And also, I didn't like the way that some people said misogyny and sexist remarks during Kayla Braxton on Twitter. I did not appreciate that at all. She is entitled to say what she says, especially if she wants to be on the right side of history, but there's a fine line in that. And for anybody that wants to yell that wrestling and politics go together, you're pretty much twice as guilty as a person that's in the Epstein files. I'm just throwing that out there. And also with the fact too, it's just really funny how you see all these people that really want to go after the ones that actually do care and have humility, like the Mick Foleys, the Hangman Adam Pages, many people in AEW, and I'm pretty sure people got on Sammy and Becky and Seth and CM Punk for using their vocal of free speech. So I don't even know what's going to happen. Plus, we still, like I said, we still have the Epstein files that are being released, so God knows what's in there. Do not be shocked if anybody from the wrestling world is in there. So I do applaud Kayla for saying what she said, but I think it's going to be very interesting because now wrestling is in an interesting space. It is very much, because usually that's the escape from everything that's happening in the world, but technically it is in the political space right now, and it does cause a lot of friction because like I said, we've seen it happen on AEW, we've seen it happen on WWE. Pretty sure we may see it happen on TNA and throughout all the wrestling stuff, but I do think there are some wrestlers that are being self-aware with what's happening in real life, and especially affecting their loved ones, their families. They're really using their voice and taking a stand. And yeah, they are going to get some pushback. And for anybody that wants to push back on them, who gives you the right to push back on them on anything, especially putting out threats and putting out slurs and everything else? Because like I said, you're just as guilty as the people, you're just as guilty as the people you're protecting in those Epstein files. So that's just my 2 cents on it.
But we do have a happy note to end on, at least today.
We do. We wanted to give time for that story because I knew we had to talk about it today. But and I did see your chat on who would you all remove from the WWE Hall of Fame? And Lynette Zayas, going in your question, I mean, I would love to see Bray Wyatt next year, but well, oh my God, next year. This year. This year for the Hall of Fame. Well, so far we have Stephanie McMahon, which surprisingly enough, that happened very early.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We haven't heard any announcements yet. Hopefully by March, we know who's in the Hall of Fame, but I don't know. It's like a mystery.
I mean, Cena.
Hopefully. I'm hoping.
That's the way to sell some tickets to that Hall of Fame. Put Cena on it. Because I'm sure those sales are super low right now, too. Because think, they still have SmackDown, Hall of Fame, and Raw.
Yep.
So I don't know what those sales have been like.
Yeah, that's very curious. Because I think last year, one of them was like sold out of Vegas last year. It was sold out. But we shall see. And we wanted to get the heavy news out the way first because we wanted to wrap up our final story we have for you. And obviously, of course, TNA news, our favorite Boniqua from the Bronx, well, actually from New York, period. Mike Santana, the reigning TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Mike Santana celebrates 3 years of sobriety. We do want to give a congratulations to him. He posted it on his socials today that he is now 3 years sober, and he described it 3 years sober. I took the first step to change my life, and every day since, I've been grateful for what this life has given me. Thank you to everyone who's taken this ride with me the last couple years. And so many people in the wrestling space have given him applause. Many within the TNA space. Also, CM Punk gave him a shout out on socials. So it's really nice that the wrestling community comes together to celebrate stuff like this.
Absolutely. Congrats to him. That's a great milestone to hit. So amazing. Such an example for everyone else. And just awesome news. Congratulations to him. And yeah, congratulations. I think it's so wonderful. You know, you think about the era, at least that I grew up in wrestling, where like the party scene was a huge part of wrestling back then, to like now where they're celebrating these wonderful milestones for people. Yay. Just so happy for him.
It makes me happy to see him that, and also with the fact too, it's refreshing to see this because, as you mentioned, Victoria, that was the era where they did the parties, the steroids, the drugs, everything concur. And then when they got older, the health started to decline a bit, and it ruined their families, their children, everything else. But it's really refreshing to see a lot of wrestlers be vulnerable and open with this kind of stuff. And it makes me happy for them to be better. They want to be better, not just for themselves, but for their families, their loved ones, and be an inspiration to others. And it really makes me happy to see that. And those are the things that I love about professional wrestling. And also, I do agree with Jesse Ventura. We do need a wrestlers union. It's not too late to start a wrestlers union. So, but congratulations
Do it
to Mike
before he dies.
Santana.
Do it for Jesse
I
before he
know.
passes away. He's not looking so good lately. I'm getting worried for him.
Oh boy. Well, hopefully we do get it because he's been trying to get a wrestlers union for so long.
Listen, y'all,
So
like
long.
I'm a millennial. I already lost Dawson. I lost Home Alone's mom. Do not take Jesse from me this year. Please don't take Jesse from me this year.
I don't think so. I'm a millennial too, so I'm hoping Jesse. So, but there's still hope for a wrestlers union. There is still hope on that. But those wraps up my stories that I had for WWT. But Victoria, do you have anything else you want to chat about? Anything that I missed? Anything else?
No, I think you hit the main things. The only other thing I saw, and because you are my AEW queen, was the Britt Baker thing, talking about how she doesn't do dentistry full time anymore, partially because of fans. You all need to calm down, is what I have to say first. But do you think we'll ever see her back on AEW?
I don't even know at this point. I mean, I can't even give you an answer. But yeah, like, you weird fans need to leave Britt Baker. I know you did that when she was a heel, but you need to really, really just leave Britt alone. Just let her live her life. If she wants to, yes. If she doesn't want to, that's pretty much on her. So I can't force her to do that. But she is still under contract with AEW. She still is. So that's the thing. And yes, Boza, Uncle Dave did put an article about a flu. But I don't think Dynamite was a mess. I think it was a really great episode of Dynamite that happened this past week. And also with the fact, too, many people had to travel from Australia because it's a long, long flight.
Yeah.
So just be very clear. Some of them had to take care of injuries. It was a long flight. And also with the fact, too, I'm sure they had to shift around a few things. But even though we do say that AEW has a big roster, one of the perks of having a big roster is you can have a little bit of fillers for Dynamite Collision and no one would know. I mean, they've done it when half of them went to the Tokyo Dome to celebrate Tanahashi's retirement. And they did it on the first year they went to Australia. So Uncle Dave can suck eggs.
Uncle Dave, did they have a breakup? Did him and Tony have a breakup? Because I'm a little concerned for that friendship that was so solid.
No offense, like he has. Well, I don't want to go far in the deep, but he just has a certain bias against certain superstars because there are some on the roster that don't like him. So
listen, to this day, all I have to say is Kurt Angle has never had a 5-star match.
Well, there's him and many other people, but
yeah, there's a lot of them. But since it's Olympics, Kurt Angle's, front and center on my brain right now.
Yes, because it is Winter Olympics right now. But that wraps up our Friday edition of WWT because we got to get ready for SmackDown later tonight. And obviously, of course, not just SmackDown, it's also the Winter Olympics as well because there's a few days left. So you want to make sure that USA brings home the gold because there's a few sports that happened. We did see in figure skating, one of the ladies in figure skating brought home the gold. It's been a long time coming, but very happy on that. And we're going to wrap it up here. But Victoria, where can the people find you?
You can find me pretty much all places at Victoria Waco. I'm on TikTok a lot and Instagram or YouTube, so come hang out with me. And what about yourself?
And the people can always find me chirping sporadically as I can on WWT. Wednesdays are 100% certified timeless elite. Wednesdays. So you can hang with me on Wednesday nights for AEW Dynamite because we're at the final stretch of our road trip to Revolution. We got a few weeks left. We already have 3 matches on the card for AEW Revolution. So who knows what other matches we're going to have. You can also follow me on my socials at CourtneyNJ11 because I do have a lot of stuff happening in the next couple weeks. Also, make sure to follow ISPW Wrestling. I was very happy to be on the call last week for their Glitter Ticket Rumble match. It was so super fun. 30 women in the ring. My God, it was amazing. Shout outs to Tiara James on winning the Glitter Ticket Rumble. We're going to try to see if we can get her on WWT. So hopefully that happens. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff cooking here on WWT Live. Shout out to everyone in the chat as well. We thank you all for your support. Shout out to Lewis, Lynette Zayas, Gas Mask, Boza, for everything that you guys have done. Also, Cousin Ron, too. Shout out in the chat. All of you. And also shout out to the rest of our WWT. No, life has been a little bit crazy, but we want to make sure the lights are on and making sure we preview everything from WWE to AEW to TNA to New Japan, everything that you need to know about wrestling. But thank you all for supporting Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet. Have a great weekend, and we will see you on Monday.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
But I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.